5 more ways British summer was a culture shock as an American. Hi, hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be watching another video of this woman. She's called Girl Gone London, and I have watched the first part of this video a few days ago, and you should have already seen it if my upload schedule is not completely freaked, which might be possible at this point in time. However, she uploaded a second video talking about stuff that she, as an American, thinks are British culture shocks or American culture shocks if you come to Britain. Never mind, let's get into the video.
Hi and welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm a dual UK and American citizen, and today I'm talking about British summer because it is upon us, and I want to talk about 5 things about British summer that still shock me as an American. I've done summer-based videos before, but there's always more that we can talk about. So, number 1, British summer is essentially made for socializing. Friends you didn't even know you had suddenly want to hang out.
Okay,
Socializing
because
in the
everyone
UK,
goes
I feel
outside.
like has 2 different seasons. There's the Christmas season, the holidays when you're like, I haven't seen these people in a while, but we should get together for like a Christmas dinner, or go Christmas shopping, or just do something festive. And then the summer. There's no real in between. The rest of the months, we're hiding indoors because the weather isn't great. I don't know. And summer is just the time for socializing in the UK. And so what surprises me is how fast the summer calendar can fill up. And suddenly you're like, I'm actually free never, because I've made plans with everyone that I've ever met, including people
Okay,
that I haven't met or will soon meet.
that doesn't happen to
And
me.
then it's September again, and you're like, I had no free time, because you were just going from barbecue to barbecue and event to event. And
Wow, sounds
there's Father's Day
exhausting.
in the summer, and there's all kinds of like summer fetes and summer fairs and activities. It's go, go, go for social people in the summer.
Yeah, maybe that's because, oh, I'm sorry, that's not a very good picture. Okay, let's stay with this one. I mean, I think it's the same here in Germany. And as a kid, I've been outside like during the whole summer. We always had this big summer break of 6 weeks, like not going to school. And I was outside from morning till evening. Now, as an adult and as an introvert, I find myself to be more inside and with my husband and just enjoying the time that we have together. And I'm not the person that needs to see their friends all the time. And we usually don't do that. Like, my life is really boring, to be honest. But I love it. I love it. So I guess for me, doing all of this, what she just described, that sounds really, really exhausting for me as an introvert. But then again, she said for social people, and I'm not that type. I've never been that type. So I guess even if I lived in the UK, I would probably stay at home, just like I do here in Germany. But that's a me thing. Interesting to hear, though. And of course, in Germany, there are more fairs and more stuff outside that is happening than in the winter season, autumn or spring. Well, spring, not so much, to be honest. There are so many little markets that are popping up everywhere in spring and also in summer. But there's definitely a lot more going on outside in the summertime than in winter. That's true.
Social people in the summer in the UK. And I feel like coming from Florida, where it's kind of just perpetually summer, I feel like our social calendars
Mm.
were more spread out, as opposed to packed into like a 2-month window. And also because the summer holidays in the UK are only 6 weeks compared to an American summer
Hmm.
for
Oh,
kids, which
six
tends to
weeks
be
as
two to
well,
three months.
like in
Even the
Germany.
kids socializing, like they don't have that much time. They have to
Yeah.
pack in their summer activities in 6 weeks. So summer does feel kind of socially frantic, and you are just like trying to get everybody in. You better hope that nobody gets sick or that there's not a whole month of rain. There probably will be. Because that could really inflict on your summer social plans. Now, the
Mm.
next thing about British summer that surprised me was in the summer, everyone becomes professional gardener. Gardening
Me
is
too.
just the top of the list for so many people. Garden
Mm.
centers are packed in the summer
Same.
months. Everybody wants to be outside, plodding along, whatever they're doing. It could be just like basic gardening work, or they could be, redoing their entire landscaping. People always seem to want to talk about gardening, be doing gardening. I don't know if this is just my age. I suspect this is partly my age and getting older, because I suspect the 16-year-olds out there aren't spending your summers gardening. But I have hit
Yeah.
that age where everyone just wants to go to the garden center and wander around and just, I don't even know what garden people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to do some gardening this weekend. I'm not a gardener myself, so I don't entirely know what that means. I'm like, are you actually planting new plants? Are you like digging up holes in your backyard? Um, I think probably I should do a deeper dive into the UK gardening culture. But it does seem like
Probably.
everybody
It's
that you
fun.
speak to wants to talk about or do gardening in the summer months, which makes sense because in the rest of the year, not much grows, and it's kind of
Mm,
gross to be sitting outside when it's just wet and cold and windy. So, yeah, is gardening also an excuse for just like sitting outside, but you act like you're doing an activity? If you're into gardening, comment
not.
below and let me know. Now,
Well, okay, so I don't know if I can say I am into gardening, but I started to garden. Is that even a verb? Is verb even the right term for that? Adjective? I always mix those up. I'm sorry. I digress. I was talking about gardening, so I only have a balcony, so there is not much to garden. However, I do have some plants on my balcony. I don't know if you can call them plants, to be honest. If I don't forget, I'm gonna take pictures so you can see for yourself. But this year, I don't know what happened. It's my second year doing this, and I don't know really what I'm doing. However, somehow the plants, most of them, are dying rather than growing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the heat. And I sometimes do forget to water them. So I water them only like every third or fourth day. Sometimes, most of the times, every single evening or every single morning, because I know you shouldn't water them during the day when the sun is outside. I'm doing all of that, but sometimes I just forget. Then they don't get enough water and stuff. So I do garden, but I'm not good at it. That's how you could describe it. But I love gardening. What's my hair doing? Hello? Could you please? Come on. Get yourself together. My hair's all over the place today. I'm sorry. That's the heat. Oh no, she's got a whole place. No. Okay. Let's watch it. I'm watching her video, so I own it to it's just I don't wanna ramble on too long, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't wanna distract you too much from the video, but it's just everyone who's seen a video of me before with the holy placement, I'm not the biggest fan because in Germany, every single influencer, and I mean every single influencer who has sponsors has Holy as a sponsor, every single one. You can't escape. They're everywhere. And I don't know the product. I don't know if it's good or not good. That's not why I am against them. I'm just against them because of the oversaturation on the influencer market. But if you want to try, use her code. This is her code. London 5. Oh, that's a nice code. For £5 discount on your first order and London for 10% off. Just scan the QR code and do all of that. I can't believe I'm doing holy placement right now. Okay, thank you so much for the commercial. Now let's get on with the video.
my description and try out the Holy Starter Set using my code London5 for a £5 discount on your first order, or code London for 10% off. Now, the next British summer thing on my list has to do with seasonal foods. Food in the UK in general, though we do get most foods for most of the seasons because of just how food works commercially these days. In general, I find that food in the UK is still seen as a very seasonal thing. So, for example,
Mhm.
strawberry season
Yeah,
is in the summer,
same.
and strawberries are at their peak in the summer, which means they are going to be baked into everything in the summer months. They
Yeah,
are the
it's
star of the
true.
show at Wimbledon, and everywhere you look on the BBC recipes or whatever is being featured, it's always going to be some sort of like Summer fruit strawberry extravaganza. America is seasonal in some ways as well, but what you have to keep in mind is that America has a very different climate as you move
Mm.
across the nation. So America is so big that the things that are growing and seasonal in certain parts of the country
I never
aren't
thought
seasonal in
about
other
that, to
parts of
be
the
honest. That's
country
true.
at that time.
Mm.
I feel like the UK just really locks into seasonal produce, seasonal fruit, and really pushes those things that are at their peak in the summer months. So, strawberries are definitely at the top of my list for what I think of as a summer thing. Also, I think tomatoes tend to be really good around this time, like June
Oh,
ish.
yeah.
Don't hold me
They
to
might
that
be
because, like I
better.
said, I'm not a
That's
gardening
true.
expert, but I do know that the strawberries and tomatoes have been tasting very good from the supermarkets lately. Now, the next
Also, pineapple and watermelon. That's the season as well. It's the season to eat watermelon. La 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 la. Sorry. What's wrong with me today? Yes, we do eat seasonal as well here in Germany, very much so. I understand what she said about America. I've never thought about that, to be honest, but now that I think about it, we do have like countries in Europe as well that are hotter, like Italy or Spain, for example, that are more south, that are hotter, and that produce different fruits. But for some reason, if they reach our supermarkets, they just don't taste good, even though they should. I don't know about that, to be honest. I think that's a topic that I shouldn't talk about. Other countries' fruits. I just know that the strawberries that arrive in our supermarkets in Germany are really not eatable. They taste like water up until the point where it's like summertime, and then they grow in Germany and even in Spain and Italy, and they all of a sudden they taste better. But throughout the rest of a year, you can get strawberries, you can get all the other fruit. They just don't taste like anything. They taste like water. That's why it's a seasonal thing for us.
a British summer thing on my list that surprised me has to do with the weather. It's always got to do with the weather. And this specifically has to do with how the weather can change so drastically from baking hot to literal hailstorms in the same
Oh,
exact
yeah.
day. This has
Oh, in the
happened a
same
lot
day?
recently here in the Southeast in the UK. Genuinely, it can be the most beautiful blue sky summer day where you are just in shorts and a t shirt, sitting outside, enjoying the weather, and not 30 minutes later, it is a torrential hailstorm,
What?
freezing cold. The wind is blowing people's
No
umbrellas
way.
into your backyard, and you are just like, you're not even sure what just happened. It happened so fast that you're not sure what just
What?
happened. That's the best way to describe the British summer weather. So those people who went to the beach
Wait, do you know if you watch the weather forecast, do they know? Do they tell you it's like, okay, up until 3 p.m. you can go outside and there's going to be sun, but after 3 p.m. there is the possibility of a hailstorm. Please go home earlier. Like, do you know if you watch the weather forecast? Just thinking about it, we do have some weather changes as well in the summer where it can be really, really hot on one day and then really, really cold and windy on the other. However, this always, or most of the time, this happens within a week. Like Monday, sunny, Tuesday, sunny, Wednesday, Thursday, all of a sudden rainy and cold. But within a day, and from sunshine to hailstorm, I mean, that's not even like just cold, a hailstorm. What the heck is going on over there? How can that happen? That's dangerous. Think about it. You're at the beach, you're enjoying your summer day, you're in your bathing suit. You have no clothing other than your bathing suit, and all of a sudden there's a hailstorm. I had no idea that it was like that in the UK, but thanks for the warning.
describe the British summer weather. So those people who went to the beach for the day, one minute they are just like basking in the sunshine, the next minute they are fighting for their lives, trying to cover themselves up from the
What the
hail.
heck?
I had a summer wedding and it did hail, rain, and was beautiful sunshine all within the amount of
Wow.
time that a reception takes. So that's not even a whole day. That was like 5 hours.
Oh
Um,
my
and this
gosh.
is just a classic British summer feature, and the fact that it's so unpredictable. In Florida, we have kind of a similar thing in where we have thunderstorms almost every single day in the afternoon,
Oh,
but they're
really?
predictable. They tend to roll in about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock for maybe an hour. The sky opens up,
They
thunder,
have a
lightning,
schedule.
and then it's done. And we can almost time our clocks by the fact that there's going to be an afternoon thunderstorm.
Oh,
So you just
wow.
plan your day around it. Whereas in the UK, in any time of year, but especially in the summer, it can be very difficult unless we're in full heat wave or like fully rainy season. Anything in between, anything can happen. So when you think about what clothes you're wearing for the day or what your activities are, it could either be it could be a complete washout in the morning, and then at 3 p.m. you've never seen a clearer blue sky and perfect weather. Now, the next thing
Wow.
on my list has to do with the overgrowth of plants and trees and bushes on the side of the road in the summer months that make for an interesting driving experience, especially in the countryside. So, in the UK, outside of like the major towns and cities, there are a lot of winding roads which are just filled with like foliage on the side. So, yeah, lots of bushes, hedgerows, and
Really?
green stuff. And these things get cut down or don't grow as fast or as easily in the winter and spring and fall. But in the summer, they're plants. And so they like the sun, they like the weather, and they just tend to go everywhere. So sometimes, like signs that you could see in the winter months, you can no longer see in the summer months because they've overgrown, so you can't see the sign, or you're driving your car down this countryside lane and you're just like constantly hitting branches and twigs and
Really?
plants because they've all just grown and kind of grown into the street. So suddenly you have a lot less space for passing, and you are kind of driving through like a Jurassic Park landscape instead of something
What?
that's very manicured. Councils do tend to try and like manage this as best they can, but obviously there's a lot of roads in the UK and things
Mhm.
grow quite quickly when the weather turns. So I definitely have been on roads where I'm like, this road seemed a lot wider to me when I drove on it in December than it does now in July. That brings me to the
Really?
end of this video. Hope you learned something new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for the video. Okay, this last thing she talked about, this plant stuff everywhere on the street and on the street signs, is really a culture shock to me, or would be if I went to the UK and drove there, which I avoided. The one time I was in London, I didn't want to drive. A, because of the left and right thingy, and B, because I don't like driving. To begin with, I hate it. I hate it. I try to avoid it if I can. So I couldn't really tell if that were the case when I was in London. And also, I don't know if she's really talking about the inner center of London where I've been. I think she's talking about other cities, like smaller cities, maybe, or the ones that are more outside of the big cities. Because in big cities, usually you don't even find that many plants to begin with. But I can't imagine. So you're driving on a street and the street sign that says, for example, please drive 30 kilometers per hour. You could just can't see it. So what is the law behind that? If you can't see the sign and you can prove it because you have a picture of the sign or something, does that mean you don't have to abide by it? Or what happens if do you even have blitzer in the UK, or maybe you don't? But if you get caught driving too fast and the police guy's like, "Oh, here's 30 and you drove 50. What's going on?" And could you theoretically drive to the sign and tell him like, or walk to the sign with him and you're like, "Okay, see the sign? Because I don't." Would that be a possibility? I don't know. Interesting things that she told me there because I didn't know most of them. Interesting video. I'm sorry if I was distracted more than usual again, but the heat wave is gonna continue in Germany, so you're gonna have to deal with it. I'm sorry. sorry. I want to try and keep it to a minimum, but my brain usually is like this. And when it's normal temperature, I can try and dense it down where I'm like, okay, stay on topic. But now that it's so hot, it's like I don't have the force to dense it down. It's just I'm helpless. Over the time of this summer, you will get a full picture of what my mind is looking like, jumping from one thought to the other in like 5 seconds. I hope you had fun watching this video together with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.